Welcome back to the IBFP. Here's your host, Boxing New.
Fanboys, be advised, this video contains the absolute truth, may cause hurt feelings, and a need to thumbs down the video. Canelo Alvarez scared of undefeated black fighters. Let's just break down fact from feelings. And this comes from the Q&A section, and this comes from 1,000 subs without a video, and he asks, what do you think of Dante's Burger Nation saying Canelo Alvarez is scared of fighting black fighters? So I had to go and research this just to make sure that Dante really said this before I set his world on fire. And you go back and look at his video about a week ago where he went in there and he said, and I quote, Canelo Alvarez is avoiding undefeated black fighters like Jermall Charlo and Demetrius Andre. So remember, he's saying Canelo Alvarez is avoiding undefeated black fighters. He does not want to fight undefeated black fighters. Now, is this something Canelo Alvarez would do, is avoid and duck undefeated black fighters? I don't think so, because this is an absolute myth. And once again, Dante Cheeseburger Nation is delusional, and let's just body bag this fat clown. And we start with the facts. And the facts are Canelo Alvarez fought at 22 years old, an undefeated world champion in his prime, 26-0 in Austin, no doubt Trout. So you cannot tell me that Canelo Alvarez is scared of black undefeated fighters, and he's a world champion, and he's in his prime. What are we talking about? And Canelo Alvarez was nowhere near his best and still fought this guy at 22 years old. What are you talking about? That's a body bag right there. But let's just keep it going. Let's get to Dante Cheeseburger Nation's daddy, and that's Floyd Money Mayweather. Yes, Canelo Alvarez fought him at only 23 years old. This is when Floyd Mayweather, who was still elite at this time, the guy was still elite, still the best fighter in the world, pound for pound #1 overall, and was 44-0. So he fought two undefeated fighters right away, back to back, both of them black, both of them on the top of their game. And yet you're saying Canelo Alvarez is afraid of undefeated black fighters? That makes no sense. This guy's been body bagged. And not only that, look at Jermall Charlo and Canelo Alvarez. You see, Jermall Charlo has already ducked and turned down the Canelo Alvarez fight. What are we talking about? But you don't see Dante's Cheeseburger Nation talking about this, do you? And not only that, his own brother Jermall Charlo went off on him and basically said, I would never turn down a Canelo Alvarez fight. This is when he went on a viral rant going at Jermall Charlo. So he got exposed by his own twin brother. These guys are garbage truck juice. And not only that, let's get to Demetrius Boo Boo Resume Andrade. It was funny when, it was announced that Canelo Alvarez may need to fight behind closed doors in 2020 at the start of the pandemic. Canelo Alvarez and his team were open to the idea of fighting behind closed doors, understanding that, whoever he fights is going to be a smaller, less lucrative fight, but it will still happen, and Canelo Alvarez wants a world champion. Demetrius Andre immediately ruled himself out of a Canelo Alvarez fight by stating, I'm not fighting Canelo Alvarez behind closed doors. So this is a guy who literally has no one on his resume, a guy who literally has boo-boo on his resume, refused to even entertain the thought of fighting Canelo Alvarez behind closed doors during a pandemic. This guy is garbage truck juice. But not only that, we debunked Dante's Cheeseburger Nation yet again. Canelo Alvarez fought a Danny Jacobs who's more accomplished than Demetrius Andre and Jermall Charlo back when Danny Jacobs was a world champion, back when Danny Jacobs was still in his prime, back when Danny Jacobs was still at his best, and Canelo Alvarez beat him clearly, concisely, and convincingly with no issues whatsoever, no controversy whatsoever. And yet Dante Cheeseburger Nation, when this fight took place, right before it, he came out and said, and I quote, if Canelo Alvarez beats Danny Jacobs, that makes him the truth. So now, Dante's Cheeseburger Nation, you've been officially body bagged.